We use elevators every day without even thinking about them. You press a button, the doors close, and a few seconds later you're where you need to be. Simple, predictable, safe. But the elevators in this video are something completely different. These are elevators bolted to cliffs hundreds of meters above the ground. Elevators that travel sideways. Elevators that carry boats through the air. And one elevator system so strange that passengers say their brains can barely process what's happening. Some of them are engineering masterpieces. Some are tourist attractions. And some feel like they were designed specifically to test how much fear the human body can handle. Join me as I count down the 15 scariest elevators on Earth. Number 15. The Bailong Elevator, China. Built directly into the side of a massive cliff in China's Zhangjiajie National Forest Park is one of the most unbelievable elevators ever constructed. The Bailong Elevator, whose name translates to 100 Dragon Skylift, rises 326 meters straight into the air. That's taller than the Eiffel Tower. The structure is attached to giant quartz sandstone pillars that inspired the floating mountains seen in the movie Avatar. And unlike a normal elevator hidden inside a building, this one is almost completely exposed. Passengers step into a glass-fronted cabin that holds around 50 people at a time. At first, the ride feels fairly normal because the elevator travels through an enclosed tunnel carved into the cliff itself. Then suddenly, the tunnel ends. Without warning, the elevator bursts out into open air, and the entire landscape appears beneath your feet. Thousands of giant stone pillars stretch across the horizon, with drops so deep they make your stomach flip instantly. People who aren't expecting the transition often scream the moment the glass wall reveals the full view. The ride lasts only 66 seconds, replacing what used to be a 2-hour mountain hike. But during those 66 seconds, passengers are suspended against a cliff face with nothing protecting them except glass and confidence in Chinese engineering. The elevator opened in 2002 and immediately sparked controversy. Environmental groups argued it damaged the natural beauty of the park, and safety concerns even led to temporary shutdowns shortly after opening. But today, millions of tourists ride it every year, and it still holds multiple world records, including the tallest outdoor elevator on Earth. For some people, it's an incredible view. For others, it's 66 seconds of pure panic. Number 14. The Aqua Dome Elevator, Germany. Inside Berlin's Radisson Blu Hotel once stood one of the strangest elevators ever created. The Aqua Dome was a gigantic cylindrical aquarium standing 25 meters tall in the middle of the hotel lobby. It held over 1 million liters of salt water and around 1,500 tropical fish. And right through the center of the aquarium ran a transparent glass elevator. Guests entering the elevator would slowly rise upward while sharks, rays, and schools of fish swam all around them. It felt less like riding an elevator and more like being trapped inside a giant underwater tube. For years, it was considered one of Berlin's most famous attractions. Then, in December 2022, disaster struck. At around 5:45 in the morning, the entire aquarium catastrophically exploded. The massive acrylic structure suddenly failed, releasing 1 million liters of water into the hotel lobby and the street outside. Windows shattered, debris blasted across the area. Cars outside were damaged, and the sound reportedly resembled an explosion. 2 people were injured by flying glass and acrylic shards. Miraculously, nobody was killed. Investigators later determined that microscopic cracks had formed inside the acrylic walls over nearly 2 decades of stress. When the structure finally failed, the result looked like the aftermath of a tsunami. Guests woke up to flooded hallways, broken glass, and tropical fish scattered across the marble floors. The elevator itself survived, but the Aqua Dome was never rebuilt. What was once one of the world's most beautiful elevator rides became one of the most terrifying structural failures ever captured inside a hotel. Number 13. Scenic Railway, Australia. Technically, this isn't an elevator. But after seeing it, most people agree it absolutely belongs on this list. Located in Australia's Blue Mountains, the scenic railway descends into Jameson Valley at an angle so steep it feels like the car is simply falling forward. The railway reaches an insane 52-degree incline, making it the steepest passenger railway in the world. Passengers sit inside glass-roofed carriages while the track drops toward the valley floor 300 meters below. And if that somehow isn't terrifying enough, riders can actually choose how steep they want the experience to feel. There are 3 settings: gentle, moderate, and cliffhanger. On cliffhanger mode, the seats tilt forward so aggressively that people in the front row are practically staring straight down at the tracks beneath them. The descent only takes about 2 minutes, but for nervous passengers, it feels much longer. The ride originally existed for coal miners back in the 1800s. At that time, the cars were open, uncontrolled, and so dangerous miners nicknamed it the Mountain Devil. Today, it's much safer. But when you're dropping down a cliff with sandstone walls racing past just feet above your head, your brain doesn't really care about safety statistics. Number 12. Gateway Arch Tram, USA. The Gateway Arch in St. Louis is the tallest monument in the United States. And the only way to reach the observation deck at the top is by climbing into something that feels disturbingly similar to a washing machine. The tram system inside the arch uses tiny egg-shaped capsules connected together like a train. Each pod seats just 5 people. And they are unbelievably cramped. Most adults can't stand upright inside them. The walls are so close together passengers can touch both sides at once. And once the doors close, you begin ascending through the hollow curved legs of the arch itself. As the tram climbs, the pods rotate and tilt to stay level while moving through the arch's curved interior. The result is deeply unsettling. The pods creak. The machinery groans. Chains and gears echo through the walls while you slowly climb hundreds of feet above the Mississippi River inside a narrow metal tube designed in the 1960s. Visitors often describe the experience as feeling like a cross between a submarine and an amusement park ride built by engineers who hated claustrophobic people. And if you're wondering whether the structure sways in strong wind, yes, it does. Number 10. Himmelschwand Elevator, Switzerland. Clinging to a cliff above Lake Lucerne is the highest outdoor elevator in Europe. The Himmelschwand elevator rises 153 meters straight up the side of a mountain. And unlike elevators attached to buildings, this one stands almost completely exposed to the open air. The elevator was first built in 1905. That fact alone makes some passengers nervous. The cab climbs directly beside the cliff face before emerging into open sky near the summit. On windy days, passengers can actually feel the elevator swaying slightly while rising above the lake far below. At the top sits an observation platform hanging over a 900-meter drop. Standing there feels less like sightseeing and more like balancing above an abyss while trusting century-old Swiss engineering with your life. Number 9. The Luxor Inclinators, Las Vegas. The Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas is shaped like a giant pyramid. Which creates a problem. Normal elevators move vertically, but the walls of the pyramid slope inward at an angle. So the hotel built inclinators instead. These elevators travel diagonally along the inside walls of the pyramid at a 39-degree angle. And the sensation is incredibly wrong. Your brain expects elevators to move straight up. Instead, the floor tilts beneath you while the giant hollow atrium opens below. At the highest points, passengers are suspended above one of the largest indoor spaces on Earth with nothing but glass between them and a massive drop. The ride feels strangely unnatural, almost like gravity itself has tilted sideways. People eventually get used to it after several rides. First-time visitors usually spend the entire trip gripping the handrails. Number 8. Santa Justa Lift, Portugal. In downtown Lisbon stands a narrow iron tower that looks like something from a steampunk novel. The Santa Justa Lift opened in 1902 and still carries passengers between different levels of the city today. The structure rises 45 meters above the streets below in exposed wrought iron decorated with arches and intricate metalwork. The elevator cabins themselves are wooden, old-fashioned, and noisy. Every creak and vibration reminds passengers that the mechanism carrying them skyward is over a century old. At the top, visitors step onto narrow walkways and observation platforms suspended above the city. The views are beautiful. But standing inside a 120-year-old iron elevator while listening to ancient machinery groan around you can feel a little less reassuring than modern elevators made of silent steel and glass. Number 7. Paternoster Elevators, Europe. Most elevators stop for you. Paternoster elevators do not. These bizarre systems consist of open compartments moving continuously in an endless loop. There are no doors, no buttons, no stopping. You simply step on while the elevator is moving. Miss your floor? Too bad. You either jump off correctly or continue over the top of the system and back down again. The compartments move slowly, but accidents have happened for decades. In fact, paternosters historically had accident rates vastly higher than normal elevators. People have been trapped between floors, caught between moving compartments, or injured trying to step off at the wrong moment. Many countries banned new paternoster systems years ago. Yet hundreds still remain operational across Europe, especially in Germany and the Czech Republic. And somehow, students and office workers still ride them every day like it's perfectly normal behavior. Number 6. Skyview, Sweden. Stockholm's Avicii Arena, formerly known as the Ericsson Globe, is the largest spherical building on Earth. And crawling slowly up its exterior are two glass gondolas called Skyview. The gondolas travel along curved rails attached directly to the outside of the giant sphere, carrying passengers upward in transparent capsules. At first, the ascent feels gentle. Then the angle changes. As the capsules move higher, passengers begin climbing sideways and upward simultaneously along the curve of the structure. Your inner ear immediately notices that something feels off. Humans are used to traveling vertically or horizontally, not across the outside of a giant sphere. The gondolas are perfectly safe, but the strange shifting angles combined with the open views below create a surprisingly unsettling experience. And once the ride starts, there's no getting off halfway. Number 5. Mpwanung Mine Cage, South Africa. This is the deepest elevator ride on Earth. The Mpwanung gold mine in South Africa descends nearly 4 kilometers beneath the surface. That's deeper than many airplanes fly above the ground. Every day, thousands of miners pack into massive steel cages that plunge into the earth at speeds approaching 40 miles per hour. The first descent alone drops over 2,000 meters in around 3 minutes. The shaft is completely dark. The cage rattles violently. Your ears pop from the pressure change while ancient rock walls blur past in total blackness. And at the bottom, the temperature of the surrounding rock reaches around 66 degrees Celsius, hot enough to seriously injure human skin. The mine survives only because enormous cooling systems pump ice slurry underground every single day. For miners, it's routine. For first-time visitors, it's reportedly one of the most horrifying elevator rides imaginable. Because unlike observation decks and tourist attractions, this elevator exists for one purpose: taking human beings deep into the earth where the environment itself wants to kill them. Number 4. Strapithu Boat Lift, Belgium. Belgium's Strapithu boat lift looks less like a canal system and more like a gigantic industrial science experiment. The structure lifts entire barges 73 meters vertically using enormous water-filled tanks called caissons. Each tank weighs roughly 8,000 tons when fully loaded. And somehow, the entire system balances so perfectly that relatively little energy is required to move them. Passengers riding inside tourist boats float upward inside a sealed chamber surrounded by towering concrete walls. As the lift rises, the ground slowly disappears beneath you while the giant machinery hums around the structure. It feels impossible, like watching a skyscraper casually pick up a river and move it into the sky. Number 3. Burj Khalifa Elevators, Dubai. The Burj Khalifa is the tallest building on Earth. So naturally, its elevators are among the fastest ever built. The express elevators travel at around 10 meters per second, shooting visitors toward the observation deck in roughly 1 minute. The acceleration is so intense that passengers' ears pop during the ascent. The building itself can sway nearly half a meter at the top during strong winds. Normally, that movement is harmless. But imagine waiting for an elevator on the 130th floor while the entire skyscraper subtly moves around you. The elevators are pressurized and incredibly advanced. Still, there's something deeply unsettling about flying upward through an 828-meter tower that physically bends with the wind outside. Especially during Dubai sandstorms, when visibility disappears and the world outside turns into a wall of orange dust. Number 2. Tower of Terror. Most elevators are designed to make people feel safe. The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror was specifically designed to terrify them. Located at Disney parks around the world, this attraction simulates a catastrophic elevator malfunction. Passengers board a haunted hotel elevator before slowly ascending through dark corridors filled with eerie sounds and flickering lights. Then suddenly, the elevator drops. Not just once, multiple times, and not purely under gravity either. The ride system actively pulls the elevator downward faster than freefall, creating negative G-forces that lift riders out of their seats. What makes the ride so effective isn't the drop itself. It's the anticipation. You spend minutes creeping upward in darkness, waiting for the moment you know is coming but can't predict. Then the floor disappears beneath you. Even people who know it's fake still scream like the cables actually snapped. Number 1. Multi-Elevator Test Tower, Germany. In a small town in Germany stands one of the strangest elevator systems ever created. The multi-elevator completely eliminates cables. Instead of hanging from ropes like traditional elevators, the cabins are moved using powerful magnetic motors similar to maglev trains. There are no cables above the cab. No counterweights. Just magnets holding the elevator in the air. And because there are no cables, the cabins can move horizontally as well as vertically. That means the elevator can literally travel sideways through a building. Passengers who've tested the system describe the experience as deeply unnatural. Your brain expects elevators to move up and down, not sideways. Not around corners. Not floating through shafts without cables. Yet that's exactly what multi does. You step into a metal box. The doors close. The elevator rises. Then suddenly, it shifts sideways through the building while suspended entirely by electromagnetic force. Nothing is technically wrong, but your brain keeps insisting that something absolutely should be.